Inside a busy auto workshop, a mechanic makes a critical mistake using a floor jack to push upward on a pickup truck already suspended on a two-post lift. Never, ever use a floor jack or auxiliary lifting device to apply upward force to a vehicle that is already suspended on a hoist. Two-post lifts rely on gravity and specific chassis contact points to maintain a delicate center of balance. When you push upward on a floating axle, you can unintentionally lift the vehicle off its safety pads. If you need to compress the suspension or apply force to a component, do it while the vehicle is on the ground or on a four-post ramp. Inside a busy warehouse, a worker strolls directly under a fully loaded produce truck, unaware that the shifting weight above him creates a hazardous situation. Never, ever linger in the drop zone beside a high-stacked vehicle that has not yet been secured or offloaded. Produce crates and palletized goods often shift and settle during transit, creating unstable lean angles that are hard to spot from the ground but may suddenly become unstable once the vehicle stops or vibrations cease. By standing directly beneath an unstrapped vertical load, you are relying solely on friction, a force that can be overcome easily by even a slight imbalance. Gravity requires no energy to act. Treat every high stack as potentially unstable until proven otherwise. At a rain-swept container terminal, a distracted worker walks across the yard, completely unaware of a moving vehicle approaching from his right. Never, ever walk through an active maneuvering zone with tunnel vision or reduced situational awareness. Industrial environments are high-risk areas where heavy machinery moves constantly, and rain or ambient noise can easily mask the sound of an approaching vehicle. When you disconnect from your surroundings to focus on a thought or destination, you remove your primary defense mechanism, making it difficult for operators with existing blind spots to detect you. Situational awareness is not optional. It is the main thing keeping you safe in a logistics yard. Stop, look, and scan before taking a single step. In this transport yard, a simple reverse maneuver soon turns into unexpected danger. Never, ever position yourself between a moving vehicle and a fixed object, also known as a pinch point or compression zone. Reversing heavy goods vehicles have significant blind spots directly behind the tray, meaning drivers cannot see someone walking into the gap. When you walk behind a reversing truck toward a stationary wall or vehicle, you enter a narrowing space where the machine's momentum can create unsafe consequences. High on a remote mountain pass, a crane truck tries to position a massive boulder near a steep drop-off, but then suddenly, the conditions become unsafe. Never swing a heavy load perpendicular to the chassis without accounting for the significant shift in the center of gravity. A crane acts as a lever, and as the boom extends, the weight of the load effectively multiplies, applying immense pressure on the outriggers. If the load moves too far from the center pin or the ground gives way, the machine can quickly approach its balance limit and become unstable. Respect the load chart and the ground conditions because physics offers no second chances. On this cramped flatbed trailer, a worker cuts the strap holding a leaning stack of steel rails. The sudden release of tension triggers a rapid chain reaction that disrupts the entire loading bay. Never, ever cut the final containment strap on a bundled load while standing on the same surface or adjacent platform. Steel bundles often retain large amounts of stored elastic energy from manufacturing. When you cut the last strap, that potential energy is released instantly, creating a sudden shift that changes the load's balance point faster than gravity can compensate. If you are standing on a platform attached to the load's base, you are effectively standing within the release path. At a chaotic warehouse dispatch area, a worker focuses intently on sorting crates, unaware that a delivery truck with its tail lift down is reversing nearby. A lowered tail lift effectively extends a truck's danger zone by several meters, creating a rigid, low-level collision risk that may be invisible in the driver's side mirrors. When a vehicle reverses with the platform deployed horizontally, the steel edge becomes a hazard that can contact a pedestrian long before the tires get close, leaving only minimal reaction time. For ground workers, never allow tunnel vision to compromise your situational awareness in a shared logistics yard. Always stay conscious of what is happening around you. On a busy city sidewalk, a road crew uses a thermal applicator to lay yellow markings. But when the heat passes over several sewer access points, a sudden pressure release event occurs. Never ever apply open flames or high-heat industrial equipment directly over manhole covers without first testing the atmospheric conditions. Underground sewer systems naturally generate methane, which accumulates in the confined space just below the street surface. When a heat source interacts with these trapped emissions, the manhole shaft can behave like a pressured system, creating enough force to lift a heavy cover upward. Treat every manhole as a pressurized environment until gas detection proves otherwise. Identify the infrastructure below before applying heat above. Inside this textile factory, a worker stands too close to a fast-spinning machine. The moment he touches the moving roll, the friction creates an uncontrollable pulling effect. Never ever get too close to high-speed spinning machines. You don't need loose clothing to experience danger. The spinning surface itself can grip anything that comes into contact with it. If you touch it, the machine's power is far stronger than human strength and can create unsafe consequences before there is time to react. Distance is your only protection. If there is no guardrail between you and the machine, you are too close. Stay back, because if you can touch it, it can create a significant danger. Attempting to load a pneumatic roller onto a trailer, the operator of an excavator tries to give it a nudge with his bucket. This unsafe assist becomes risky instantly. Never, ever use an excavator bucket to push or pull another machine during loading. Heavy equipment is designed to move under its own power or be winched. Using a bucket as a pushing device introduces unpredictable forces. Metal-on-metal contact is slippery and difficult to control. A single slip can cause the excavator arm to strike with extreme force, potentially damaging equipment in milliseconds. Shortcuts like push loading are unsafe practices. If a machine cannot climb the ramp on its own, it needs a winch or a tow. Crossing this narrow transport bridge, a massive heavy haulage rig suddenly becomes unsteady as physics takes over. Never, ever transport a high center of gravity load without ensuring the travel path is perfectly level and stable. A tall load acts like an inverted pendulum. Even a small dip in the road surface or a soft spot in the ground can create enough lateral force to shift the center of gravity outside the trailer's base. You cannot correct a loss of balance from the driver's seat, so the route must be fully surveyed and leveled before the wheels ever turn. To keep learning from these important workplace safety lessons, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Stay aware, stay safe.